Hi and welcome to In the Kitchen with Pen, and today I am going to be showing you a really simple excuse me, recipe that has been requested from somebody, and that recipe is apple turnovers. So I'll just run you through the ingredients and then we'll start to make. So you need some puff pastry. This is Lidl's puff pastry. It is, without a doubt, one of the best ready-made, ready-rolled puff pastries that you can buy. I have used the Sainsbury's all butter puff pastry and I don't know what's happened to it, but it is rubbish. It just melts away and it's really difficult to work with. So I've got Lidl's just over the road, so I use this. So puff pastry. You need some apples. Now you can use these, which are eaters, or you can use Bramley apples. It's entirely up to you. I've got these, so that's what we're using. To go in with the apples, we'll need a little brown sugar. And I don't know if you can see, I've got some mini marshmallows in there. The reason is it stops the brown sugar going hard and clumping. So little tip there. Also going in is some cinnamon. It says cinnamon on the top. Yeah, it says cinnamon on the top. So apples and cinnamon, match made in heaven. Okay, then please excuse me. To go on, we need an egg so that our pastry gets a nice glaze. Okay, so egg and a little bit of water is what I'm going to be using. Then when they're cooked and cooled, the recipe I was asked for was an iced cinnamon, an iced apple turnover. So I need some icing sugar. Trust me, it does say icing sugar. It does, just there. And some milk, because I think it's much nicer made with milk than with water. And also, let me make sure I've got the right one out. Yep. A drop of vanilla extract. So that's all it is. I'm going to peel the potatoes. Pot potatoes? Well, what do the French call the potatoes? Pomme de terre, apples of the earth. So I'm almost right. I'm going to peel the apples, pop this back in the fridge because I want to keep it nice and cool, and we'll get started. Right then, that's 4 apples peeled and chopped. I cut the apples into quarters, took out the core, and then cut each quarter into 2 or 3. And then I just diced it. We've got some bits that are bigger than others, but it doesn't matter because it's going to give us our texture. And now I want to put in some brown sugar. And I don't want to add any marshmallows, although they could be quite nice. So there you go, one's gone in there. I'm just going to add this. And this brown sugar I made myself. If you search for our sugar video, you will see it. Right, so that's the brown sugar. I'll go and put a little bit more because I haven't actually tried the apples. I don't know how sweet they are. So brown sugar's gone in, and some cinnamon. The cinnamon is optional, but as you know, if you've been watching me for a while, our Steve does like his cinnamon. Right, so again, I want to point out the cost of fuel in the UK has gone up and is going up even further by a staggering 80%. So when I'm doing something like this, rather than using my electric hob, I'm now using a little camping gas stove. So this is on. Obviously I don't need it on high, so I'm just going to turn it down right as low as it will go. And they will just sit there and simmer down quite nicely. I'm going to pop a lid on, because obviously when you put a lid on you're saving energy too. So I'm just going to let them do their thing. Time to check these apples, and they should be cooked because it's been about 10 minutes. Now An eating apple won't mush down quite as quickly as a Bramley, but as you can see, that is fall off the fork tender. So switch this off, and now these need to cool because you don't want to put a hot filling into cold pastry. So what I'm going to do is I am going to move everything out of the way once again. The perils of a small kitchen, you could say. And I'm going to put this into a dish so that it cools down just that little bit quicker. And see the liquid that's coming out? We don't want that in our pie either. And I know it's not a pie, it's a turnover. But the apples have got a lovely touch of cinnamon on them, and this smells amazing. It really does. So what I'm going to do is just empty this out and let this cool. I might even pop it into the fridge just to hurry that cooling down. There you go, let me show you. There you are. And we'll be back when it's time to actually make them. Our apples have cooled, so I've got out the puff pastry, and I've just cut a square, and I've marked where I want to go down to cut it into 4 smaller squares. You can make larger ones of these if you want, it's entirely up to you. Right, and now we need our egg. So I need to crack an egg into there. I'm going to add just a splash of cold water. And then we need to whisk it. Now this is going to be used for sealing the turnovers and for giving them the egg wash so that they come out a nice colour. But first we need to add our apples. So we're going to take a quantity of the apples and pop them almost in the middle of the square of pastry. I'm saying almost in the middle because if I say it's in the middle, there's bound to be somebody who says, that wasn't in the middle, Penny. So it doesn't have to be dead centre, should we put it that way? Don't overfill them because they will puff up and split. Right, now we take our pastry brush and I'm just going to brush around every edge. You don't have to do every edge, just, you know, if you want you could just do the edges that you're actually going to be sealing. But I figure if I do every one, then I've got double the chance of getting this correct, haven't I? Right, and now we just take our pastry and we bring it over, and we want to seal quite nicely all the edges like so. We're not doing a Cornish pasty crimp, we are just sealing them. Okay, so push in your apples that will poke out and just seal them with your hand like so. And you want to do this with all of them. I mean, from your general puff pastry, you're going to get probably 6. But the trouble is, if I make 6 will get eaten, and we don't need to be eating that much sweet stuff ourselves, do we? Right, so we're sealed, but to make sure, with a fork, and we're just going to go round with a fork and push down both pieces of pastry. Like this. Right, you will have, if you're cooking these in an oven, preheated your oven to 190°C, and then you would put these on a baking sheet. I'm going to be making them in the Ninja. So what we do now is we just brush them nicely with our egg glaze because we want them to look pretty. And now's the point you make your decision. Am I going to leave them as they are when they're done, or am I going to do as Penny and put a glacé icing glaze? If you're just going to leave them as they are without a glacé icing drizzle, I said glaze, then you would sprinkle these with a little bit of sugar. Right, so these would be on your baking sheet and into the oven. But as I said, we're not doing them in the oven, are we? We're going to be doing them in our Ninja Jewel. So, that wasn't very clever, that was a pair of scissors I just dropped then. Right, we take our pie, our turnover, and we pop it into the drawer. You'll only get 2 in each drawer of this size. And the same with the other drawer. So just straight into your oven on your baking sheet for about 15 minutes really, or until they are looking golden. I'll get this off my hands because I don't want egg all over my Ninja. Put this one in, and then I'll bring you over and you can see exactly what I'm doing. Switch on the Ninja, and we're going to select bake, and we are going to go at 170, so we're going to up the temperature to 170, but time, we're going to go 12 minutes, and the same with this. Bake, temperature 170, time 12 minutes. Will match, in fact I didn't need to do that if I was doing match and start. That's it, that's all we need to do. I will check on them to make sure they're not getting too brown, but hopefully the next time you see these they'll be looking a beautiful golden brown colour and will be cooked. We have 4 seconds left and the kitchen is smelling amazing. There we are, they've both stopped, so I'm going to open a drawer and look at that. Don't they look good? There we are. All these ones look slightly more, but doesn't matter. Now we're going to get them out onto a cooling rack. A very important thing with your Ninjas or any air fryer is to not use metal utensils. So as you can see, I am using a silicone slice to get mine out. They haven't stuck. I didn't expect them to either. And they are looking rather nice, and that's without the sugar on. Now I have made a couple more from the pastry that was left over. One has apple filling and one has a mixed fruit filling, and can you see those lumps of sugar that I've got on there? Well, these were candy sugar crystals, so they're quite big crystals of sugar, and I picked these up in an international supermarket. They weren't cheap, They were £2.50 and I got this amount here that you can see in the bag plus what I've used. But I'm not going to use them every time I cook. I'm not going to use a lot of them when I cook, so that's okay. So we're going to leave these to cool and I'm going to get these ones in. Now, whilst our turnovers are cooling, I'm going to make the glacé icing. Glacé icing, it is approximately 1/2 liquid, so the amount of icing sugar that you use. So I've got, what have I put in there? Just over 2 dessert spoons of icing sugar. I'm going to just a splash of the vanilla because we want a vanilla flavoured icing, and we're going to go in with just over 1 spoonful of the milk to start, and you just mix. There's no magic formula. If it's too thick, add some more water or milk. If it's too runny, add some more icing sugar. And to be honest, that looks like it needs a little bit more icing sugar to me. I want it to drizzle, but not fall off. Does that make sense? It's looking more like it. So that this is the sort of consistency it's going to hold. Okay? Just like that. That's it. Done. Just as an experiment, I cooked these last two on air fry for 5 minutes at 190C air fry. So do you want to have a look? 5 minutes. So very carefully, I left them on the paper as well. Take them out and wear gloves or use your tools. There we go. Look at those. Let's put that there like that. So, air fried apple puffs, apple turnovers, within 5 minutes is your bake. And I'll turn them over and you can see that they're cooked underneath. I can't turn them over, they're too hot, but take my word for it, they're cooked underneath too. So, the longest part of this particular bake there was cooking your apples. But do you know what? If you wanted to cheat and buy a tin of stewed apples, you're going to have these ready in 10 minutes. Perfect. Right, they're cooled. Here's our glacé icing. Now it looks like it's formed a crust. Well, it has. But it doesn't matter. Just give it a stir and it's done. Right, so I have put something underneath that I am not washing down my work surface all the while with lovely sticky glacé icing, and all you do is you just drizzle over your glacé icing. You can drizzle as much, I'm quite heavy there, or as little as you want. And that's it. That is our apple turnovers with glacé icing. I'm using it all because it's there. Waste not, want not, and all that. I'm sure Steve will love it. And remember, our icing has a vanilla flavour and our apple turnovers have a beautiful cinnamon flavour. Well, that really is how easy it is to make iced apple turnovers. As I say, they're just as easy in the oven as they are in the air fryer, unless of course you use the air fry mode like I did with these ones. And just look, I told you I'd show you the bottom was cooked as well. Do you know what? This is the mixed fruit one, so I'm going to have a try. So listen for the crunch. That sugar really does have a crunch, but I haven't even had any dinner yet. Should I be doing this? Probably not. Oh well. They're really nice. So however you cook your apple turnovers, please have a go. If you've liked this video, give us a thumbs up. Any comments, write them down below. I need a cup of tea now, don't I? And I'm happy to reply. So for now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very soon in the kitchen with Pen. Bye bye. Thank you for watching this edition of In the Kitchen with Pen, and quite a lot of the time Steve. If you've liked what we do and want to see more, then click here.
And if you'd like to subscribe, please click here.
Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.
Keep cooking.